everybody, I'm Keshav and welcome to another episode of the Cash Art Show. And today we're going to be drawing a caricature. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And we're going to draw a caricature from one of my favorite animated movies of all freaking time, which is Aladdin, 1994. I'm not sure. But I'm not going to draw a caricature of that, but I'm going to draw a caricature of the 2019 Genie from the movie Aladdin. I haven't watched it yet. I'm excited to watch that, but I'm going to do a caricature for that on today's episode. Let's jump into it, shall we? Boom! I don't think I jumped out of the frame. Anyways, the tools you're gonna need for this episode are a good old-fashioned paper and a pencil. That's all you're gonna need. But I am going to use this right here, a Wacom bamboo tablet. It's a cheap one, it's like nothing. And I'm going to do this caricature digitally on Adobe Photoshop. But all the principles and the techniques and the mindset, that matters. Those things apply anywhere, no matter you're doing things digitally or traditionally. I don't care. The stuff that I'm going to show you today applies to traditional stuff as well, but I want to do it digitally. Okay, the first thing you need when it comes to caricaturing something is, my friend, a reference picture. You need a good old-fashioned reference picture of which you want to, do your caricature on. So get a good reference picture online. So what I did for this was I looked up pictures of Will Smith instead of the Genie Will Smith, because apparently there aren't that many reference pictures of Will Smith as Genie online. I tried to get some, there aren't many. There are tons on his normal attire, but not in his Genie attire. So I took a picture of Will Smith, which I really liked, and the next step is to caricature that picture. Boom. Let me show you how you do that. So whenever I'm trying to caricature something, I first always start out with thumbnail sketches. So these are like quick, random scribbles. You can call them scribbly sketches. That's good. That's the name I'm going to use for these things. Scribbly sketches. Do some scribbly sketches. These sketches determine the look of your illustration piece before you commit on to doing the final thing. So this is a place where you experiment. This is the place where you fail. This is the place where you try new things without being too perfectionistic about it, and just go on, have fun with it, do some doodles, do some sketches, do multiple types of scribbly sketches, and try to get an understanding of how the piece that you're trying to create, need to look like. And that's what I did here. Okay, to recap things, I used the initial sketch, the breakdown sketch from here, and I used that to create this initial sketch right here. So breakdown sketch to the initial sketch, as you can see, everything is just a little bit of an exaggeration, So this upper section right here is this area right here, and this section right here is gonna be this part, and the chin is going to be slightly more exaggerated. Maybe I can play with it, So this is how you break things down when you're drawing a caricature. This is how I at least do it. I just look at the individual shapes that I see in the head, and I use those shapes, try to exaggerate them or tone them down a little bit, because caricature, exaggeration is like a bit of both. You tone things up or you tone things down. But I'm not one of those caricature artists who does these really extreme exaggerations of like the faces. I'm not exactly into that. I like slightly bit of a cartoonish look to things, but I just want to resemble the likeness of the person that I'm trying to caricature. So that's how I do things. At least I don't go overboard with my exaggeration, so a little bit here and there. So that's how I did it for this thing. I could have gone with a bigger head, maybe, I don't know, but hey, this is what I went up with. So the next step when it comes to caricaturing things is getting the likeness right. Like, what's the point of doing caricatures if your caricature doesn't appear to be like the person that you're trying to caricature, right? Like, what's the point? So how do you capture the likeness? Well, here are some techniques and tips that I use. One is to study the shapes and the forms of the eyes and the nose. For example, Will right here has, pretty thin eyes. Just see what shape that eye is. He's got this very thin eyes in this picture, at least. You just determine what the shape of that eye is, and you can get a clearer picture of the shape, because you know, typical person's eyes, like take my eyes for example, is like big, so my eyes would look somewhere, you know, like this, so slightly bigger. And those are the features that determine the appearance of a person, and that's what makes us as people different, right? We all have the same stuff, like two eyes, one nose and one mouth. But you know, why do we look different? Because our shapes of our attributes differ, and also the distance of those attributes. Example, the distance from your eyes and your nose differ from person to person, and the distance of your nose to mouth differ from person to person. So this is like the shape of my eye, and this is the shape of Will's eye. And if you look at the distance from his eyes to his nose, that is pretty damn, you know, like close to his stuff. And look, there are some common proportions, standards that you can follow, which you can use. Like the distance between two eyes is approximately, you know, one eye, but this is not true in this picture. But yeah, well, it can be true, maybe, yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there, approximately. So Will Smith here has wide eyes, right? So that's how you study stuff. And also the nose right here, look at the nose. It's got this very big round thing that's going on right here, right? And also look at the nostrils, right? So he's got a pretty wide nose. So that's an attribute. And the distance between his eyes is pretty damn small, that you can use. So those are the stuff that I'm, you know, like noticing. And also another shape that you can sort of make use of, you know, of this caricature thing of Will right here is this very triangular nose. So he's got this shape nose right here, this kind of nose right here, right? This is the shape of his nose. And for most people, such as myself, right, my nose might look, you know, like this. So my nose might be slightly more thinner than Will Smith right here. See, that's why I'm not a superstar like him, you know. So if you want to be a superstar, have a big triangular nose, people. So anyways, so yeah, you get the point right here. So my nose might, you know, is slightly longer as well. So, you know, Will's nose is like this. So see, look at the difference. This is what makes people different, you know. So this right here is what makes people different. And you have to notice those differences in your caricature, and you have to play it up or play it down depending on your taste and your style. Play it up means make it bigger, play it down means make it smaller, something like that. Some other attributes that I have noticed in his face is this section right here, the distance between his eyebrows. Pretty damn huge. You can almost fit an entire eyebrow within that thing, within that space. So another feature right here is this thing right here. When he smiles, he's got this big thing going on. Most people have that thing going on right here, but his stuff is more pronounced, and his jaw is pretty damn pronounced. So that right here. So, and he's got his ears, which is big, and what they did with the Aladdin Genie, the 2019 Genie, is they went even bigger and made it into a pointy stuff, slightly pointed one right here. So that is how they did it. So here's what you're gonna do. You have noticed all these features, and you're going to take that and apply it into the initial sketch that you have created for yourself. You are going to go with the eyes, you're going to go with the nose, you're going to go with the mouth. And the mouth in this caricature, I didn't exactly use Will's mouth exactly, but I just like went with the cartoony one that I draw. That's why I think the caricature doesn't look as much you know, like Will Smith, but hey, who cares? So anyways, so this is how you do it. You just notice all these attributes, notice the distance between all these attributes, and apply that into your sketch. You got your initial sketch right here, my friends. And another things that you can do is adding wrinkles. You gotta notice where the wrinkles are. So the wrinkles on this character, they are on multiple places. I use lots of wrinkles to represent the character properly or represent the sketch properly. And as you can see in the sketch, there are lots of wrinkles right here on the forehead, and right here, this is not a wrinkle but like a shape mark, and right here there's another wrinkle, and underneath is eyes. His eyelids make him look more Will Smithy. I don't even know what that means, but his eyelids, if you will look at the original picture, his eyelids play an important part of his eyes, because his eyes are pretty damn small, and his eyelids is like a big part of his eye. And those little things add to your caricature. You never know what adds to your caricature. You just need to keep drawing lines and making marks and see what works for you. And also the wrinkle on top of his nose, that is also another thing that you can make note of. So you just go over these things and just make notes and see what works, see what doesn't. Just go back and forth and back and forth, and that's how you do your get your caricature done. So with that part done, now I move on to the next one, which is shading stuff. How do you do that? Well, I use a simple technique called hatching and cross hatching. So hatching is pretty damn simple, right? Just see where the shadow falls, and what you do on that area is just go and add your shadows. So this is how I do it. Just lines on the same angle. Look at that. So that's how I do hatching. This is hatching. And if you want to make that section right here, say, right, if you want to make this section a bit more darker, what you do is you go in a slightly different angle and shade that, and you do that with the parts where the shadows fall on. And you have to determine where the shadows fall on by observing the object, and that is you have to understand that each and every section on his face is like an individual piece of shape that has its own form and dimensions, and you have to note where the light is coming from and where the shadows fall on. The shadows usually fall on the opposite side of the light, right? That's common principle. And for an example, the nose right here, since the light is coming out from the top, the nose, the underneath section of the nose is going to be having some sort of shadows. So this is how you sort of determine where the shadows fall. The underneath part of the eyes have shadow. So these are the stuff that you need to just have a look at things and just go with it and draw stuff. This is a very simpler version. So anyways, that's what I did. So I use hatching and cross hatching to add shadows for the initial sketch, and once I'm done with that, I'm pretty much done with the caricature. So that's how you do caricatures. That's how I do caricatures anyway. You just determine the reference picture that you want to draw. You use that reference picture, break down that reference picture into its individual shapes and forms, try to exaggerate up or down those 4 individual forms. Then you look for likenesses, that is by studying the reference picture, the attributes of that person that you're trying to caricature, like the shape of the eye, the shape of the nose, the shape of the mouth, and everything, and you place them in different proportions, place them in different placements, and just play with those things. Play with lines. That is an important tip when it comes to caricaturing stuff. You never know what one line could define or increase the likeness of your sketch. Just one line actually can radically, you'll never know if it's a hard hitting line that'll increase the likeness of your caricature by a huge degree. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this sketch of Will Smith, and I would like to thank you guys for watching this episode of the Kesh Art Show, and hope you liked it. Give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below on what should I be doing on the next episode, and yeah, subscribe for more artsy videos and other things that I do on the channel. So yep, thank you for watching. I will see you guys later.